Welcome. Wherever you are listening from tonight, I invite you to let go of the day behind you and drift with me into the stillness of space. You might be lying down, your body resting softly against the bed. Perhaps you've already begun to feel the weight of sleep gathering around your eyes. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Again, in and out. As you breathe, imagine yourself becoming lighter, as though gravity itself is gently releasing you. The worries of the day loosen their grip, and with each exhale you rise a little higher, floating free. Above you stretches the night sky, a blanket of black velvet, scattered with a million pinpricks of light. Some of those stars are distant suns, each with worlds of their own. But tonight, our journey remains closer to home. We will travel outward from the very heart of our solar system, past worlds rocky and worlds gaseous, past moons that whisper of hidden oceans, and even further, toward the icy frontier that marks the edge of our cosmic neighborhood. For billions of years, these planets have turned silently in their orbits, circling the sun in a slow eternal dance. Every creature that has ever walked the earth, every breath you've ever taken, has happened beneath this same grand clockwork, this vast celestial rhythm. And tonight, we will glide gently along its paths, unhurried, as though time itself has slowed to a peaceful pause. Imagine yourself rising higher still, up through the thin blue atmosphere of Earth, where the sky fades from azure to deep indigo, and then finally to the endless black of space. Below you, the Earth begins to shrink, the oceans turning to swirls of blue and silver, the continents soft shapes beneath veils of cloud. City lights flicker on the darkened side, like golden constellations scattered across the land. And above there is silence, no wind, no sound, only the faint hum of your own breath, and the stars burning steadily in all directions. You are leaving the world behind now, floating free in orbit, weightless. The Earth turns slowly beneath you, a living jewel suspended in the dark. Take a moment to appreciate its beauty, the only known world in the universe that hums with life. Every forest, every ocean wave, every laugh, every tear, all of it contained within that delicate sphere. It is small, and yet to us it is everything. But tonight we are not staying. We are voyagers, travelers among the stars. And so, with calm curiosity, we turn our gaze toward the great lantern that anchors this system, the sun. Ahead of us in the distance, a glow begins to rise. Not sharp, not blinding, but warm, like the golden flame of a candle in the dark. The closer we drift, the more it grows, until it fills our vision with light. This is where our journey begins, with the star that gave us life, that lights our days, and that has watched silently over all of human history. Breathe deeply once more. Let your body sink into rest, and allow your mind to float here at the threshold of wonder. For we are about to step beyond the boundaries of Earth and explore, slowly and peacefully, the vast and beautiful solar system. There is no need to hurry. The planets will wait for us. They have been turning for eons and will keep turning for eons more. All we must do now is listen and drift and dream. Our voyage begins with the sun. Before us, the sun fills the sky, a vast glowing star, the heart of our solar system, burning steadily for more than 4.5 billion years. It is immense, so immense that it holds more than 99% of all the mass in the solar system. Every planet, every moon, every comet and drifting stone circles this one star. The earth that cradles you, the air that fills your lungs, even the warmth on your skin when you stand in the light of day. All of it is a gift from the sun. From here, floating in the silence of space, the sun appears not as a fiery ball of chaos, but as something calm, constant, and reassuring. Its light stretches outward in every direction, filling the darkness with a soft golden glow. It is the steady rhythm of the universe made visible. The sun was born from a cloud of gas and dust, long ago, when gravity pulled matter together into a spinning sphere. As the cloud collapsed, its center grew hotter and denser until finally nuclear fire was kindled in its heart. That fire still burns today. Every second, countless atoms of hydrogen fuse together to form helium, releasing light and heat that streams out across space. It is a quiet, ceaseless process, a gentle heartbeat of creation that will continue for billions of years to come. If you could look closely at its surface, you would not see smoothness, but motion. The sun's face is alive, constantly shifting, patterns of boiling plasma rising and sinking like waves in a vast, slow ocean. Sunspots mark the surface with dark patches, cooler regions that drift and dissolve with time. And every so often, arcs of glowing fire leap outward, solar flares and prominences, great ribbons of light that stretch high into space before curling back down again. Yet from here they are not violent. They are graceful, like sparks drifting upward from a bonfire on a quiet night. The light that touches your eyes right now, or that warms your face on a sunny day, began its journey deep within the sun's core thousands upon thousands of years ago. It traveled slowly through layers of plasma, bouncing endlessly, before finally breaking free into space, racing across the void at the speed of light. And after 8 minutes, it arrived at Earth. Every beam of sunlight you have ever felt is ancient, a story that began long before you were born. The sun is not only a giver of warmth, but a maker of worlds. Long ago, when it first came to life, the leftover gas and dust swirling around it began to clump together, forming planets, moons, and asteroids. Everything you will see on this journey is a child of the sun, a fragment of that ancient disk still orbiting its parent star. Now, allow yourself to simply bask in this light. Feel the warmth, not scorching but comforting, as though you are standing by a fire on a cool evening. The sun does not rush, does not tire, does not falter. It is steady, enduring, a reminder that there is constancy in the universe. Even as everything else changes, we drift here for a moment longer, floating in the glow, watching the golden waves ripple across its surface. The silence of space surrounds us, and the only motion is the slow, gentle turning of this star that has been burning since before the Earth was born. And now, as we begin to turn away, the light softens behind us. We leave the warmth of the sun and set our course toward the first of the planets, a small, cratered world that races closest to this star. Ahead of us, in the distance, Mercury waits. Now we drift away from the glow of the sun, carried outward into the calm darkness of space. Ahead of us, a small gray world emerges, the innermost planet, Mercury. From a distance, Mercury is modest, almost shy compared to its larger siblings. It is the smallest of the 8 planets, barely larger than Earth's moon. And yet, it holds a unique place in the solar system, closest to the sun, a swift messenger forever racing in tight circles around its parent star. As we draw closer, its surface begins to reveal itself. It is scarred and cratered, a world shaped by billions of years of cosmic collisions. Rocks and fragments from deep space have left their marks here, punching holes in the crust and scattering dust across its plains. The result is a landscape that looks ancient, quiet, and untouched, a record of the solar system's earliest days. Unlike Earth, Mercury has almost no atmosphere. There are no clouds, no winds, no rains to wash away the scars of the past. Every crater remains unchanged, like memories carved in stone. The silence here is complete. There is no air to carry sound, no breeze to rustle over rocks, no waves to crash against a shore. If you stood upon its surface, the only sound you would know would be the rhythm of your own breath, echoing inside your suit. But Mercury is also a planet of extremes. Without an atmosphere to soften the sun's heat, the days grow scorching, hot enough to melt lead. And yet, when the sun sets, all that warmth vanishes into space, leaving the nights colder than ice. It is a place where fire and frost live side by side, trading places with every turn of the planet. Look around, and you would see long shadows stretching across the ground. The horizon is sharp, the sky above black even in the middle of the day. And in that blackness, the sun looms enormous, 3 times larger than it appears from Earth. It rises slowly, crawling across the sky. Its light so bright it casts a silver sheen over the rocky ground. But Mercury has secrets. Despite its heat, despite its proximity to the sun, there are places here where ice still exists. At the planet's poles, deep craters lie in eternal shadow, their floors never touched by sunlight. In these hidden pockets, water ice has survived for millions of years. A reminder that even in the harshest places, there can be quiet refuges. Mercury's days are long, strangely long. The planet spins so slowly on its axis that one day lasts nearly 60 Earth days. Imagine standing there watching the sun rise in the distance. For weeks it would climb higher until finally, after an agonizingly slow journey across the sky, it would sink back down, leaving you in darkness for weeks more. The rhythm of time here is stretched, drawn out like a slow and endless breath. And though Mercury is small, it is not fragile. Its iron core is immense, making up much of the planet's mass. Once it generated a strong magnetic field, and even today a faint echo of that field remains, a ghostly shield against the solar winds that rush past on their way outward. As we float above its surface, we can imagine the stillness of standing on that rocky ground, the horizon gray and lifeless, the sky forever black, and the sun bright and immense, casting a brilliance that touches every stone. It is a world both harsh and fragile, ancient yet enduring, a place where silence reigns eternal. We linger here, in this quiet orbit, allowing the silence of Mercury to wash over us. In its stillness, there is a kind of peace, the peace of a world that asks for nothing, and simply is. Now, with gentle patience, we turn away. The gray globe shrinks behind us as we drift further outward. Ahead, a new world gleams in soft golden hues. Wrapped in clouds, hidden in mystery, it shines like a lantern in the night. Our journey continues toward Venus. We leave Mercury behind, its gray cratered surface fading into the distance, and drift outward through the silence. Ahead, a soft glow rises. It is brighter than any star in the sky, a jewel shining with steady brilliance. This is Venus, the second planet from the Sun, and one of the most mysterious. From Earth, Venus has always been a source of wonder. It is the brightest planet visible to us, a radiant point of light that appears in twilight hours. Ancient civilizations knew it well, calling it the morning star when it rose before dawn, and the evening star when it lingered after sunset. To them it was a symbol of beauty and love, a guiding light in the darkened sky. Even today, it is one of the most dazzling objects we can see with the naked eye. But as we draw closer, its true nature begins to unfold. Venus is wrapped in a thick cloak of cloud, a golden veil that hides everything beneath. From a distance, those clouds appear serene, swirling softly in delicate patterns. They give the impression of calm, as though the planet is resting in eternal stillness. But this is only an illusion. Beneath the veil, Venus is a world of fire and pressure. A planet as harsh as it is beautiful. Its atmosphere is heavy with carbon dioxide, so dense that standing on the surface would feel like being crushed beneath the weight of an ocean. Clouds of sulfuric acid drift endlessly overhead, casting a golden haze across the sky, and the air itself traps the sun's warmth with brutal efficiency, creating a greenhouse effect so powerful that the surface temperature soars hotter than any other planet, even hotter than Mercury. Though Venus lies farther from the sun, here the heat is constant, unrelenting, a smothering embrace that never fades. Imagine, for a moment, that you could stand upon the surface. The sky would glow in shades of orange and yellow, thick and suffocating. The ground beneath your feet would be rocky and desolate, shaped by lava plains that stretch for miles. Mountains rise in the haze, and volcanoes, some the largest in the solar system, dot the horizon. The air would feel oppressive, pressing against you with a force dozens of times stronger than Earth's atmosphere. And yet above, the clouds would swirl in graceful silence, their motions slow and hypnotic. A day on Venus is unlike any day we know. The planet spins so slowly on its axis that one Venusian day lasts longer than an entire year on Venus. Imagine watching the sun crawl across the sky, not over hours, but over months. And in a strange twist of fate, Venus spins in the opposite direction of most other planets. Here, the sun would rise in the west and set in the east, its journey long, drawn out, and strangely reversed. Despite its harshness, there is something profoundly peaceful about drifting above this world. From orbit, we are spared the heat, the pressure, the storms. We see only the beauty, the endless cloud tops moving like soft brushstrokes across a golden canvas. They circle the planet in patterns that seem eternal, never ceasing, never hurrying, just flowing in quiet rhythm. Scientists believe that beneath those clouds, the planet is still alive in its own way. Volcanoes may still breathe fire across its surface, reshaping the land in ways we cannot see. Lightning crackles within the thick atmosphere, flashing silently from a distance. And yet all of this is hidden behind the curtain of clouds. Venus keeps her secrets well, revealing only what she chooses. As we float here looking down upon the golden veil, we might imagine what it would feel like to descend into those clouds, to sink slowly through layers of mist, the light above dimming, the pressure building, the air growing hotter and heavier with every passing moment. It is a place both wondrous and forbidding, beautiful and inhospitable, like a dream that turns strange the longer you stay within it. And so, we remain at a distance, content to admire its glow from afar. Venus shines softly in the darkness, a reminder that not all beauty is gentle, and not all brightness comes without cost. It is a planet of paradoxes, a symbol of love that hides a world of fire, a jewel of the sky that resists our every attempt to understand it fully. Slowly we turn away, leaving its golden shroud behind. As we drift outward once more, the next planet begins to rise in the distance. Blue and white, alive with oceans and air, it glows like a beacon of life in the vast black sea of space. It is our home. It is Earth. As we leave Venus behind, its golden clouds fading softly into the darkness, another world begins to appear ahead. Blue, vibrant, alive, it is Earth, our home, the cradle of life in the solar system. From this distance, Earth is breathtaking. Oceans shimmer in deep, endless blues, their surfaces reflecting sunlight like scattered gems. Continents stretch across the globe, forests, deserts, and mountains, forming patterns that speak of both order and chaos, of processes that have been shaping this world for billions of years. Clouds drift above it all, soft, white, and ever-changing, moving in slow, graceful patterns across the oceans and land. Imagine floating here, weightless and free. No need to look down or worry, for this world cradles life on a scale we cannot fully comprehend. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, depends upon the thin blue veil of atmosphere that shields the planet from the harshness of space. It is delicate, yes, and yet remarkably resilient, a perfect balance of gases, water, and sunlight that makes life possible. The rotation of the planet is gentle and steady. Earth spins on its axis once every 24 hours, creating day and night in a cycle that has continued for billions of rotations. From above, the line between day and night stretches in a curve, a soft gradient of light fading into shadow. Sunlight warms the oceans, causing waves to shimmer like liquid glass. Cloud shadows glide over forests, over mountains, over deserts, painting the surface in moving patterns of light and dark. The diversity of life here is astonishing. Every forest, every coral reef, every desert dune is home to countless creatures, from the smallest plankton drifting in the oceans to the largest animals roaming the land. And while the Earth appears calm from space, life pulses beneath the surface. Rivers flow tirelessly, carving valleys and shaping mountains. Volcanoes breathe fire from deep within the crust, reminding us of the energy that flows unseen beneath our feet. Even the wind and weather follow patterns, a symphony of movement and change, keeping the world in constant, gentle motion. Earth's atmosphere is a miracle. It scatters sunlight to create the blue skies we know, shields us from deadly radiation, and carries clouds that bring water to the land. From space it glows faintly along the horizon, a thin, fragile line between life and the void. This delicate skin of air is home to all life, protecting us, nurturing us, and connecting every living thing to the sun and to each other. Look closer, and the signs of human presence are visible. Tiny flickers of light trace the paths of cities at night, while roads and bridges carve gentle lines across the continents. Yet even with our presence, the planet's vastness dominates, reminding us that we are small, fragile, and yet inseparably connected to this living sphere we call home. From here, Earth is a blue marble suspended in blackness, orbiting the sun in a perfect balance of gravity and motion. The oceans, forests, and mountains stretch endlessly, each a testament to the power and persistence of natural processes. And yet, despite all its complexity, there is a deep calm in observing it from space. The planet spins silently, turning day into night and night into day, a constant rhythm that echoes the pulse of life itself. As we float above this living jewel, let us take a moment to breathe in its beauty. Imagine the sound of wind over oceans, the rustle of leaves in forests, the gentle trickle of rivers, all blending together in the harmony of life. This is a world of balance, a fragile yet enduring miracle that has survived for billions of years. And now, as we begin to drift away, our gaze turns to Earth's companion, the moon. Pale, cratered, and familiar, it waits silently, a sentinel watching over the blue marble below and guiding the tides with its gentle pull. Our journey continues, from the warmth of the sun to the closest planets, and onward into the quiet majesty of the moon. As we drift away from the vibrant blues and greens of Earth, a pale, familiar shape rises ahead of us. It is the moon, our constant companion in the night sky, silent, steadfast, and glowing softly in the darkness of space. From here, it seems so close, a quiet silver guardian floating just above our home. Its surface is etched with craters of every size, scars from countless collisions with rocks and debris over billions of years. Some craters are deep and shadowed, their rims sharp against the faint light. Others are smooth, faded by time, like the gentle wrinkles of a face that has aged gracefully. All of them tell a story, the story of a world that has witnessed Earth's own journey from afar. The moon has no air, no wind, no water to shape its landscape. It is a world of stillness, where silence reigns eternal. If you could stand upon its surface, your footsteps would echo only in your imagination, for there is no medium to carry sound. Every footfall would be a private moment, unheard by anyone or anything. Its gravity is weak, just 1/6 of Earth's, so each movement would feel light, almost floating, a gentle spring in every step. You could leap high over cratered plains, or drift across gentle slopes, weightless in the calm embrace of this quiet world. Look up, and Earth fills part of the sky, a swirling jewel of blue, white, and green. From this vantage, the planet we call home seems even more precious, delicate in its vast surroundings. The moon orbits Earth faithfully, its slow rotation keeping the same face turned toward our planet. We see only one side, the familiar cratered surface that has inspired countless myths and stories since humanity first gazed skyward. The moon guides the oceans with its gentle pull, its gravity shaping tides that rise and fall in eternal rhythm. It has influenced life on Earth in ways we are only beginning to understand, from the ancient cycles of animals to the growth of our earliest civilizations. Its influence is subtle but profound. It is a reminder that even in silence, a presence can have great power. Imagine drifting over the moon's surface in our quiet voyage. The sunlight glints off the pale rocks, casting long, delicate shadows across plains and craters. The horizon is soft and curved, rising gently to meet the black sky. Here, there is no rush, no movement except what we bring ourselves, and the steady ancient orbit that carries the moon around Earth. Some craters hold frozen water, hidden in shadowed depths at the poles. These icy pockets have survived for billions of years, preserved in eternal darkness. Even in the harshness of this airless world, life's building blocks linger, quietly waiting, reminders of the possibilities that exist even in silence. The moon has witnessed it all. It has seen Earth's continents drift, oceans rise and fall, life emerge and evolve, and civilizations grow and vanish. It has spun in the dark, patient and enduring, a quiet observer of our world. As we float above the lunar surface, we can imagine the peace it offers. A stillness so complete that the mind begins to slow, the heartbeat quiets, and a feeling of calm spreads through the body. This is the serenity of the moon, a place of reflection, of gentle observation, a companion not only to Earth, but to our thoughts, our dreams, and our rest. And now, as we drift past this silver sentinel, we turn our gaze outward once more. Beyond the moon lies a red world, scarred and mysterious, with mountains taller than any on Earth, and valleys deep enough to hide oceans from view. Our journey continues toward Mars. As we drift past the moon and leave Earth behind, a faint red glow begins to grow ahead of us. It is Mars, the fourth planet from the Sun. Small, rocky, and mysterious, a world that has captured human imagination for centuries. From a distance, Mars appears calm, a dusty red sphere suspended in the blackness of space. But as we draw closer, its surface begins to reveal the textures of time and motion. Vast plains stretch endlessly, interspersed with deep canyons and towering mountains. Every ridge, every crater, every valley tells a story of billions of years of change, of fire and ice, wind and dust. Mars is a planet of extremes. Its surface is covered in iron oxide, the reason it glows red, and this rust-colored dust is blown across the landscape by winds that sweep tirelessly across the plains. Some days the planet is calm, its thin atmosphere barely stirring. On other days, giant dust storms can rise, covering the entire world in a swirling haze of red and orange, hiding the sun and reshaping the surface below. From orbit, these storms look like living clouds, moving in slow hypnotic patterns, a gentle reminder that even in harshness, there is rhythm and motion. The mountains of Mars are unlike any on Earth. Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the solar system, rises 3 times higher than Mount Everest. Its slopes are broad and gentle, stretching across hundreds of kilometers, as though the planet itself has been slowly folded upward. Nearby, Valles Marineris cuts a canyon deeper than any trench on Earth, stretching over 4,000 kilometers long. If you could fly over it, you would feel a quiet awe at the scale, a sense of the planet's ancient power and the patient forces that have shaped it for eons. Mars has 2 tiny moons, Phobos and Deimos, spinning rapidly around the planet. From the surface, Phobos would rise and set twice in a single day, a quick-moving, shadowy companion, while Deimos drifts slowly across the sky, a faint, distant watcher. These moons, like Mercury and Venus, are reminders that even small bodies have their own quiet roles in the dance of the solar system. Beneath the surface of Mars, scientists believe liquid water may still flow in hidden aquifers, and ancient rivers and lakes have left traces that hint at a time when the planet was warmer, wetter, and perhaps more hospitable. We can imagine the soft trickle of long-gone streams, the gentle lapping of water against the banks of vanished lakes, echoes of life that may have once existed here. Even in its current dryness, Mars holds the memory of water, a quiet whisper of possibility, hidden just beneath the soil. The days on Mars are familiar, yet slightly different from Earth. Each day lasts about 24 hours and 39 minutes, a rhythm almost like our own. The seasons change too, though longer because the planet takes nearly 2 Earth years to complete one orbit around the Sun. Summer, Winter, spring, and fall drift slowly across the planet, altering winds, temperatures, and the faint cloud patterns that sometimes form above the surface. As we float above Mars, we feel the contrast between harshness and serenity. From a distance, the red planet glows softly in the sunlight, its mountains and canyons forming quiet patterns of shadow and light. Its thin atmosphere does little to alter the sunlight, so shadows are sharp, the horizon clear, and every ridge and crater visible in stark detail. Here there is silence, so complete that even your heartbeat seems loud. And yet within this silence there is a kind of peace, a calm that comes from witnessing a world that has endured billions of years in patient stillness. Mars is ancient. Its rocks have recorded the history of the solar system, from asteroid impacts to volcanic flows, from shifting dust storms to frozen polar ice. It reminds us that time stretches far beyond human lifetimes, that patience and endurance shape worlds in ways we cannot always see. We linger in orbit, admiring the quiet beauty of this red world before turning our gaze outward, toward the next region of the solar system, the vast, scattered belt of asteroids that drifts silently between Mars and Jupiter. Our journey continues, through the silent remnants of creation. Beyond the quiet red plains of Mars, our journey takes us outward into a different kind of space, a region filled not with planets, but with countless small, rocky bodies drifting silently in the void. This is the Asteroid Belt, a vast collection of fragments left over from the formation of the solar system. From a distance, it appears almost empty, a black stretch of space, silent and still. But as we move closer, hundreds, thousands, perhaps millions of rocky worlds begin to reveal themselves. Some are tiny, no larger than a house. Others are massive, hundreds of kilometers across, each with its own shape, texture, and story. They drift in a slow, steady rhythm, orbiting the sun between Mars and Jupiter, kept in line by gravity, a cosmic river of stones moving endlessly. Ceres, the largest object in the belt, is nearly 1,000 kilometers across. It is so large that it is considered a dwarf planet, spherical and complete, with a surface of rock and ice and perhaps even water hidden beneath. Pallas, Vesta, and Hygeia, other massive asteroids, move along their own paths, rotating gently in the sunlight, casting shadows on the smaller rocks nearby. Every one of these fragments tells a story of collisions and survival, of a time when the solar system was young and violent forces shaped everything we see today. The smaller asteroids tumble silently in space. Some are irregularly shaped, like jagged shards of broken glass, spinning slowly as they drift. Others are more rounded, smoothed over billions of years by countless minor impacts. Their surfaces are scarred and pitted, bearing witness to collisions with comets, meteors, and each other. Some are covered in a layer of fine dust, a residue of their constant motion through the void. And yet, despite the chaos implied by their origins, the asteroid belt moves with a surprising order. Each object follows its own orbit, traced out over millions of years, never colliding with its neighbors in most cases. They drift in silence, each aware of the gravitational forces around it, held in a delicate balance between Mars and Jupiter, between freedom and constraint, between past collisions and future paths. Imagine floating among these asteroids, moving slowly and quietly, weightless and unhindered. You could drift past massive rocks, casting shadows on the smaller fragments below, and watch the sunlight glint off their rough surfaces. Some may be dark and almost invisible, absorbing the light. Others reflect it, glowing faintly, like tiny lanterns in the darkness of space. The asteroid belt is also a reminder of fragility. These are remnants, leftovers of creation, pieces of material that never formed into a full planet. And yet, in their smallness, they hold information about the birth of the solar system. They are time capsules, frozen witnesses to a period when planets were forming, when collisions and chaos were shaping the foundations of worlds. Every crater, every crack, every fragment contains clues about temperatures, chemical compositions, and the history of the Sun and planets around it. Some of these asteroids are rich in metals, nickel, iron, and other elements scattered across their surfaces. Others may contain ice or organic molecules, materials that hint at the ingredients of life itself. And in the vastness of space, they drift silently, unguarded, unhurried, a reminder that the universe holds both stillness and potential, and that even the smallest objects can carry immense importance. As we float here among the asteroids, we are reminded of the quiet poetry of the cosmos. No noise disturbs the silence, no wind or rain moves the stones. Only the slow tug of gravity, the gentle push of sunlight, and the patient passage of time. This is the rhythm of space, constant, enduring, serene. And now, as we drift beyond this rocky river, a new giant begins to emerge in the distance. Massive and imposing, its bands of clouds swirling with power, it waits patiently for us. Our journey continues outward toward the gas giant Jupiter. Beyond the asteroid belt, our journey takes us outward, and a colossal presence begins to fill our vision. It is Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, a massive gas giant, a world so immense that more than 1,000 Earths could fit inside it. From a distance, it appears serene, its bands of swirling clouds stretching across its surface like painted ribbons of cream, beige, red, and orange. But as we drift closer, the sheer scale of Jupiter becomes overwhelming. The planet is alive with motion, winds that circle the globe at hundreds of kilometers per hour, storms that rage for centuries, and the iconic Great Red Spot, a hurricane larger than Earth itself, rotating slowly but endlessly in the planet's turbulent atmosphere. Jupiter has no solid surface, no ground upon which to stand. Its entire body is composed of gases, mostly hydrogen and helium, pressurized and layered in ways that create stunning cloud patterns, each layer moving at its own speed. As we drift through the upper atmosphere, we see bands of clouds flowing east and west, forming stripes that encircle the planet, while whirls and eddies of color dance across the surface. It is a dynamic, living painting, constantly changing, never repeating, a planet in perpetual motion. Jupiter is surrounded by a faint halo of clouds, but its influence stretches far beyond the visible atmosphere. Its immense gravity shapes the orbits of countless moons, holds the asteroid belt in check, and even protects the inner planets by deflecting comets and asteroids that might otherwise strike Earth. It is a guardian, a giant sentinel watching over the solar system, its presence felt even from millions of kilometers away. The planet has dozens of moons, each unique and fascinating in its own right. Io, the most volcanic body in the solar system, erupts constantly, its surface a mosaic of lava flows and sulfuric colors. Europa, smaller and icy, hides a global ocean beneath its frozen crust, perhaps harboring conditions for life. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, is bigger than Mercury, with its own magnetic field and ancient cratered surface. Callisto, heavily cratered and ancient, reminds us of the slow passage of time and the vast history of these celestial companions. Imagine floating above Jupiter, suspended in its faint magnetosphere, watching the bands of clouds shift beneath you. The winds are relentless, yet from here we feel only calm. The Great Red Spot rotates slowly, its spiraling colors hypnotic. A storm that has raged for centuries, unaware of the tiny humans observing from millions of kilometers away. Lightning flickers in distant storms and auroras glow softly near the poles, where charged particles meet the upper atmosphere, creating curtains of color, a gentle reminder that even giants have beauty and subtlety. Jupiter radiates more heat than it receives from the sun, remnants of its formation and the slow contraction of its immense mass. Its core is a mystery, perhaps solid, perhaps molten, but hidden beneath thousands of kilometers of swirling gas. Everything we see, everything we measure, is only the surface of a complex, dynamic system so vast it challenges human comprehension. Yet even this giant can inspire a sense of peace. From above, its motion is rhythmic, the bands flowing with quiet regularity, the storms cycling through their eternal patterns. It is a planet of extremes, yes, but in observing it from space, we are reminded of the beauty of balance, how motion, chaos, and order can exist together in harmony across a vast expanse. As we drift past this magnificent giant, we leave behind its swirling clouds, its moons, and its storms, and turn our gaze outward once more. Beyond Jupiter lies another gas giant, more distant, colder, yet equally majestic. Its blue and green hues swirl in a world of wind and ice, waiting patiently for our approach. Our journey continues towards Saturn. As we drift outward from Jupiter's swirling storms, a new presence appears ahead of us. It is Saturn, the sixth planet from the Sun, a colossal world adorned with rings so vast that they stretch across hundreds of thousands of kilometers. From a distance, Saturn glows softly in pale gold and beige, its atmosphere striped with subtle bands like watercolor brushstrokes flowing across a canvas. But it is the rings that capture the imagination first. Thin, delicate, yet immense, composed of countless particles of ice and rock, each orbiting in perfect harmony. Some pieces are no larger than dust, others measure tens of meters across. Together they form a luminous halo that encircles the planet, a crown that has inspired awe for centuries. Saturn is a gas giant, composed mostly of hydrogen and helium, with no solid surface upon which to stand. Its atmosphere is in constant motion, winds racing around the planet at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Storms rise and dissipate, cloud bands shift slowly, and lightning flashes occasionally in the deep layers, revealing a hidden fury beneath the serene exterior. From afar, though, the planet appears calm, majestic, a gentle giant in the quiet reaches of space. Its rings are not solid, but instead a delicate ballet of ice and rock. Some regions appear bright and reflective, shimmering in sunlight like glass. Others are darkened, filled with ancient debris that has drifted in over billions of years. Gaps in the rings, carved by tiny moons and gravitational forces, form intricate patterns, creating a celestial artwork that evolves slowly, gracefully, with the passage of time. Saturn is home to dozens of moons, each with its own unique character. Titan, the largest, is cloaked in a thick orange haze with rivers and lakes of liquid methane and a surface that may hold the secrets of prebiotic chemistry. Enceladus, smaller but no less remarkable, sprays water vapor into space from geysers at its south pole, revealing a hidden ocean beneath the icy crust and hinting at the possibility of life in its depths. Rhea, Dione, Tethys, Mimas. Each satellite is a quiet world, spinning and orbiting in the endless rhythm of Saturn's domain. Imagine floating above Saturn, hovering just beyond the outer edge of its rings. The view is breathtaking. The planet's golden bands swirl beneath you, and the rings stretch endlessly in every direction, casting shadows across one another. From this vantage point, the planet feels both immense and delicate, powerful and gentle, a living, breathing presence in the dark. Saturn's core is hidden far below its cloud tops, perhaps composed of rock and metal, heated by the slow contraction of the planet's enormous mass. The planet radiates more energy than it receives from the sun, a quiet glow from deep within, proof that even giants carry hidden warmth. Every storm, every wind, every cloud is part of a system that has existed for billions of years, unchanged yet ever in motion. As we float here, we are reminded of the wonder of scale. The rings massive yet fragile, the storms fierce yet orderly, the moons countless and unique. Everything is connected by gravity, moving in a slow, eternal dance. Saturn is not only a planet, it is a system, a miniature cosmos in itself, and yet it exists peacefully, silently, for any who wish to observe. We linger for a moment longer, watching shadows drift across the rings, listening to the imagined whisper of ice colliding gently, absorbing the scale and serenity of this world. Then, with slow patience, we begin to drift outward again. Beyond Saturn lies another giant, smaller, colder, yet no less beautiful, with deep blue clouds and fierce winds circling in the distance. Our journey continues toward Uranus. As we drift outward from Saturn, the pale golden glow of its rings fading behind us, a new planet slowly emerges in the distance. It is Uranus, the seventh planet from the Sun, an ice giant cloaked in soft blue-green hues, floating silently in the dark ocean of space. From afar, Uranus appears calm, almost serene, its soft teal color reflecting the faint sunlight. But this world is unlike any other in the solar system. It rolls along its orbit almost on its side, rotating like a rolling ball rather than spinning like a top. Its axis is tilted at over 97 degrees, so that its poles take turns pointing almost directly at the sun. Imagine standing there, watching the sun circle the sky in strange patterns, rising from north, setting in south with long, endless days and nights that stretch for decades. The atmosphere of Uranus is cold and mysterious. It is composed mostly of hydrogen and helium, with traces of methane that give the planet its distinctive cyan glow. The clouds are subtle, layered, almost ethereal, flowing slowly around the planet, blurring the boundaries between gas and sky. Occasionally, faint storms erupt, tiny flashes of turbulence in a vast frozen expanse. But overall, Uranus exudes calm. It is a quiet, almost meditative presence in the outer reaches of the solar system, inviting contemplation and reflection. Uranus has a collection of thin, dark rings, not as bright or extensive as Saturn's, but graceful and mysterious nonetheless. They encircle the planet like delicate bands of shadow, ghostly reminders of the forces at work in its orbit. Alongside the rings orbit numerous moons, frozen worlds of ice and rock. Miranda, with its patchwork valleys and cliffs, appears almost stitched together by time itself. Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, and Oberon, each spin silently in the planet's gravitational embrace, their surfaces bearing scars of ancient collisions, their forms shaped by both fire and ice. Imagine floating here above Uranus, weightless and calm. The pale blue-green clouds stretch endlessly beneath you, the faint rings casting thin shadows across the planet's face. The sun is a distant glow, far smaller than on the inner planets, yet still bright enough to glint off the icy surfaces below. There is silence, complete and profound, broken only by the imagined whisper of distant moons orbiting gently, and the slow, eternal motion of the planet itself. Uranus is also a world of extremes. Its average temperature hovers around -224 degrees Celsius, colder than any other planet in the solar system. Its winds can reach hundreds of kilometers per hour, racing across the upper atmosphere in invisible currents. And yet, despite its chill and distance, it is a place of subtle beauty. The soft, muted tones of its clouds, the gentle tilt of its axis, the quiet dance of its moons and rings, all create a sense of harmony and stillness. A reminder that even in extreme environments, there can be grace and calm. Uranus also teaches us patience. It moves slowly, far from the sun, its long orbit taking 84 Earth years to complete. Its seasons are long, drawn out, lasting decades instead of months. In its slow rhythm, there is a lesson. Even in the vastness of space, even in the most distant reaches, time flows with purpose, and change is both gentle and inevitable. As we drift above Uranus, we allow ourselves to absorb its serene beauty, its quiet, icy majesty, the calm order of its orbit, and the subtle motion of its pale clouds. It is a planet that asks nothing, and yet gives everything in its silent presence, a meditation in motion. And now, as we begin to move further outward, another giant awaits, a planet of deep blue, with storms that rage in fierce bands. Its winds among the fastest in the solar system. Our journey continues toward Neptune. As we drift away from Uranus, its pale blue-green hue fading softly into the darkness, another world slowly emerges in the distance. It is Neptune, the eighth planet from the Sun, an ice giant cloaked in deep blue, farther and colder than any planet we have visited so far. From afar, Neptune glows like a sapphire, dark yet luminous, a jewel suspended in the vast blackness of space. Its color comes from methane in the atmosphere, absorbing red light and reflecting brilliant blue, giving the planet a serene, almost hypnotic appearance. But Neptune is not calm beneath this tranquil exterior. It is the windiest planet in the solar system, with gusts that race across the atmosphere at over 2,000 kilometers per hour, creating storms and turbulent bands that circle the globe. The clouds of Neptune are faint but fascinating. They appear as white streaks or wisps across the deep blue, moving slowly in long, graceful arcs, drifting across the planet's face like delicate brushstrokes. Occasionally, massive dark storms appear, some larger than Earth itself, spiraling for years before dissipating into the surrounding atmosphere. Despite the violence of these winds, from our distant vantage point, they seem almost peaceful, a reminder of the quiet majesty of distant worlds. Neptune is surrounded by a system of faint rings, thin and dark, composed of dust and ice particles. They are delicate and subtle, visible only when sunlight catches them just right, stretching across the space around the planet like wisps of silk. Alongside the rings orbit numerous moons, each unique and mysterious in its own way. Triton, the largest, moves in a retrograde orbit, hinting that it may have been captured by Neptune's gravity long ago. Its icy surface is dotted with geysers that erupt into space, a reminder that even in the farthest reaches, planets and moons remain dynamic, alive in subtle ways. Imagine floating above Neptune, weightless and calm. The deep blue clouds stretch endlessly beneath you, their gentle motion hypnotic. The sun is a faint glow, smaller and colder than on the inner planets, yet still casting a shimmer across the upper atmosphere. Storms swirl slowly in distant bands, their movement almost imperceptible from this distance, and the faint rings glow dimly, casting delicate shadows across the planet's face. Neptune's cold is extreme. Temperatures drop to nearly minus 218 degrees Celsius, and its interior is a mix of rock, ice, and gas, heated slightly by residual energy from its formation. Despite the distance and the chill, Neptune radiates more energy than it receives from the sun, a subtle warmth that flows outward, evidence of the unseen forces at work deep within. The planet teaches us about motion and time. Its winds race faster than any other planets, yet everything is balanced in orbit, circling the sun in a slow, measured rhythm. Its seasons are long, lasting decades, and the planet's atmosphere evolves gently, showing us that change can be slow and still profound. Floating here, we absorb the serene majesty of Neptune. The deep, calm blue of the planet, the hypnotic swirl of clouds, the faint glimmer of rings, and the distant sun all combine to create a sense of timelessness. This is a planet of extremes, yet from this distance, its presence is peaceful, meditative, a silent giant watching over the edge of the solar system. As we linger for a moment, we reflect on the journey we have taken, from the scorching plains of Mercury, through the shrouded clouds of Venus, the vibrant life of Earth, the pale stillness of the Moon, the red deserts of Mars, the rocky expanse of the Asteroid Belt, the immense storms of Jupiter, the golden rings of Saturn, the tilted serenity of Uranus, and now, the deep blue calm of Neptune. Beyond Neptune, the journey continues into the distant reaches of the solar system, where icy worlds drift in silence, the realm of Pluto and the scattered objects of the Kuiper Belt. Our voyage outward is endless, a journey of quiet wonder through the cosmos, as the universe unfolds in timeless grace. As we drift outward from Neptune, its deep blue glow slowly fading behind us, another distant world appears on the edge of our vision. It is Pluto, the once ninth planet of our solar system, a small, icy body that drifts silently in the cold outer reaches, alone in the vast expanse beyond Neptune. From afar, Pluto appears pale and fragile, a soft golden-brown sphere, with hints of white at its poles and surface. Its diameter is only about 2,000 kilometers, less than one-fifth of Earth's, yet it carries a quiet majesty. Despite its size, Pluto has a complex surface with mountains made of water ice, plains of frozen nitrogen, and valleys carved by processes we are only beginning to understand. The heart-shaped region, known as Tomball Regio, glows faintly in the dim sunlight, a symbol of discovery, curiosity, and the human spirit that reached this far. Pluto has 5 known moons, the largest of which is Charon. Charon is so big relative to Pluto that the two bodies orbit each other like partners, locked in a gravitational dance. The smaller moons, Styx, Nix, Kerberos, and Hydra, move more quickly, tiny guardians circling the icy world. Together they create a miniature system, spinning in silence around the frozen dwarf planet. The sun is faint here, a distant pale dot in the sky, and temperatures plunged to nearly minus 230 degrees Celsius. Pluto is a world of ice and shadow, where even sunlight brings little warmth. Yet despite the cold, there is motion. The thin atmosphere, mostly nitrogen with traces of methane and carbon monoxide, expands and contracts as Pluto approaches and recedes from the sun, creating soft, delicate changes in pressure and weather that occur over its long 248-year orbit. As we drift closer, we notice subtle textures on the surface, jagged mountain peaks, smooth plains and winding valleys carved by ancient ice flows. The contrasts between light and shadow are sharp, yet in the pale sunlight they appear gentle, muted, as if the planet itself is resting, waiting patiently for the slow rhythm of its orbit to continue. Beyond Pluto lies a vast collection of icy objects, the Kuiper Belt. Here, countless small worlds drift in silence, remnants of the early solar system, frozen time capsules that have never coalesced into planets. Some are only a few kilometers across, tiny fragments of rock and ice, while others rival Pluto in size, slowly tracing their long, elliptical orbits around the sun. From this distance, they appear like scattered stars, tiny beacons of frozen light against the blackness of space. The Kuiper Belt reminds us of the vastness of the cosmos. Even in the remote, frigid outer reaches, there is order in the motion of these distant objects. Each one follows its own path, held by the sun's gravity, moving in slow, silent rhythm. Some may collide over billions of years, others may drift forever, never approaching another body. Yet together they form a ring of distant worlds, a boundary to the solar system we know, and a threshold to the unknown regions beyond. Imagine floating here among these icy bodies, weightless and quiet. The sun is small and pale, barely warming the distant rocks. The silence is complete, profound, broken only by the imagined whisper of distant objects moving through the void. Each one carries the story of creation, the materials that formed planets, the remnants of collisions, and the slow passage of time in the farthest reaches of our cosmic neighborhood. Pluto and the Kuiper Belt are reminders of patience, of endurance in the cold and distant reaches of space. They exist quietly, unnoticed by most, yet they are essential to the story of our solar system. Each icy world, each orbiting fragment, speaks to the processes that shaped everything closer to the sun, from rocky Mercury to gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, and to the ice giants Uranus and Neptune. As we drift slowly beyond Pluto, our journey extends into the scattered, mysterious realms of the outer solar system, the Oort Cloud and the distant, unseen reaches where comets originate, waiting silently to return to the inner planets in their long, slow journeys. The outer solar system is vast, silent, and beautiful. It is a place of frozen serenity, of gentle motion, and timeless wonder. Here, in the cold shadows at the edge of our cosmic neighborhood, we find a sense of calm, of reflection, and a reminder of the infinite possibilities of the universe. Beyond the icy reaches of the Kuiper Belt, our journey stretches into the faintest, most distant regions of the solar system. Here, in the darkness and cold, exist tiny travelers that have wandered for billions of years. comets, meteoroids, and the scattered remnants of creation. And beyond them all lies the Oort Cloud, a mysterious, nearly invisible sphere surrounding the sun at the edge of its influence, stretching halfway to the nearest stars. Comets drift silently through the void, small icy bodies composed of frozen water, carbon dioxide and dust. From afar, they appear as tiny specks of light, but as they approach the warmth of the sun, they awaken. Ice begins to sublimate, releasing gas and dust, forming the iconic coma, a glowing halo around the nucleus. Long tails stretch away, pushed by the solar wind and sunlight, curving gracefully like ethereal ribbons of light, tracing the comet's path through the darkness. Each comet carries a story from the dawn of the solar system. They are relics of the material that formed planets, frozen archives of chemistry and time. Some comets pass close to the inner planets only once, on long orbits lasting thousands or even millions of years, before returning to the icy fringes of the sun's domain. Others may be captured into shorter, repeating orbits, visiting the inner solar system with quiet, predictable regularity. Meteoroids are smaller, rocky fragments drifting silently in space, remnants of asteroids, comets, and collisions. They float undisturbed for eons, tiny wanderers in a vast cosmic sea, until occasionally one is drawn by gravity toward a planet or the sun. From this distance, they appear like specks of starlight, tiny echoes of the building blocks of worlds. And beyond even these distant travelers lies the Oort Cloud, a vast spherical shell of icy bodies stretching roughly 1 to 2 light years from the sun. It is a frozen frontier, too distant to see directly, known only through the comets it occasionally sends inward, tiny messengers from the edge of our solar system. The Oort Cloud is quiet, vast, and mysterious, a cosmic reservoir of ancient ice and rock, holding secrets from the very birth of our sun and its planets. Imagine drifting here among these distant wanderers, weightless and calm. Comets drift silently, their tails stretching toward the distant sun. Meteoroids float, unhurried, while the Oort Cloud looms in the background, vast and invisible, its countless icy objects moving slowly in endless orbits. The sun is tiny, pale, a faint glow barely warming the edges of this frozen realm. Silence surrounds you completely, broken only by the imagined motion of distant bodies and the faint glimmer of sunlight reflecting off ice and rock. These distant regions teach patience and perspective. Here, time stretches differently than it does on Earth. Comets may take thousands of years to complete a single orbit. Meteoroids may drift for billions of years before encountering another body. The Oort Cloud, enormous and distant, exists in quiet equilibrium, its members held in place by the gentle tug of the sun's gravity, and yet free to drift slowly, endlessly, through the dark ocean of space. The outer solar system, with its icy wanderers, reminds us that even in silence there is motion, even in emptiness there is presence. Each object, no matter how small, has a story to tell, a journey to undertake, and a role to play in the vast cosmic ballet. As we drift slowly through this frozen frontier, we witness the infinite patience of the universe, the quiet persistence of time, and the interconnectedness of all things, from the blazing sun, through the planets and moons, past the Kuiper Belt and the icy comets, and out to the distant, mysterious Oort Cloud. In this serene expanse, we feel a profound calm, a sense of being part of something vast and eternal, and a quiet appreciation for the infinite reaches of our solar system. As we drift slowly back from the outermost reaches, from the icy remnants of the Oort Cloud, from distant comets and silent meteoroids, we take a moment to reflect on the journey we have undertaken. We have traveled from the scorching, cratered world of Mercury, through the thick, golden clouds of Venus, and past the vibrant blues and greens of Earth, our home, the only world known to cradle life. We lingered briefly above the moon, silent and cratered, a faithful companion to our fragile planet. We crossed the red deserts of Mars, tracing ancient riverbeds and frozen polar ice, and ventured through the rocky expanse of the Asteroid Belt, a river of fragments drifting silently in the void. We approached Jupiter, the gas giant, its immense storms and colorful bands overwhelming yet mesmerizing. Saturn followed, majestic and golden, its iconic rings stretching endlessly, a delicate halo of ice and rock that glimmered in pale sunlight. We tilted alongside Uranus, drifting past a world rolling on its side, blue-green clouds shifting gently in long, slow rhythms. And then Neptune, the deep blue ice giant, its storms racing across the atmosphere, its distant rings faintly glowing, a serene, hypnotic presence at the edge of the sun's domain. Beyond Neptune, we glimpsed Pluto, small and fragile, yet rich in texture and life's potential, its heart-shaped plains glowing softly. And then we moved into the vast Kuiper Belt, countless icy fragments drifting silently, a quiet reminder of the raw, untouched materials of creation. Finally, we reached the Oort Cloud, a frozen, nearly invisible sphere at the edge of our solar system, home to ancient comets, silent wanderers, and a repository of the sun's earliest history. Through all these worlds, we have seen extremes of temperature, gravity, and motion. We have seen surfaces sculpted by fire, ice, wind, and water. We have seen storms raging for centuries, and tiny fragments drifting untouched for billions of years. And yet, in each world there is beauty. In each orbit, a rhythm, and in each moment, a sense of calm. The solar system is not merely a collection of planets and moons, asteroids and comets, rings of ice and gas giants spinning in majestic orbits. It is a meditation in motion, a vast, interconnected system where gravity, light, and time choreograph an endless dance. From the inner rocky worlds to the distant, icy fringes, everything moves with purpose. Everything exists in harmony, even in the silence of space. Floating here, we feel the serenity of this journey. The sun glows faintly in the distance, casting its gentle light across worlds vast and small. Planets spin slowly, moons orbit faithfully, and comets trace their long, looping paths, echoes of creation and persistence. The solar system stretches endlessly, but even in this vastness, there is intimacy, a reminder that every rock, ice particle, and storm has its place, every orbit a story, every planet a quiet companion in the dark. Now we drift gently outward, beyond the Kuiper Belt and Oort Cloud, into the quiet, infinite reaches of interstellar space. Here, in the stillness, the solar system becomes a single entity, a cosmic symphony of light, motion, and time. Each planet, moon, asteroid, and comet has contributed its voice, its texture, its story to this gentle meditation on the universe. And as we float here, weightless and serene, we carry with us the calm of Mercury's harsh deserts, Venus's swirling clouds, Earth's blue oceans, Mars' silent red plains, Jupiter's raging storms, Saturn's golden rings, Uranus's tilted serenity, Neptune's deep blue majesty, and the icy wanderers of Pluto, the Kuiper Belt, and the Oort Cloud. The solar system whispers a quiet lesson. In vastness, there is order. In silence, there is motion. And in every corner of space, there is beauty waiting to be seen. We exhale, and as we do, we drift slowly into the calm of the universe, carried by the gentle rhythm of planets, moons, and stars, toward the endless serenity of space itself.